When a loyal South Indian man is betrayed by a woman, his response will still be influenced by the core psychological factors of betrayal: hurt, anger, disillusionment, and a need for closure. However, cultural background plays an important role in shaping how he processes and expresses these emotions. South Indian cultures, which are often grounded in strong family ties, traditional values, and respect for social norms, may add specific dimensions to his emotional and psychological reaction. Here are some psychological facts and behaviors that may be unique to a South Indian man when faced with betrayal by a woman. Number 1. Strong sense of honor and reputation. In many South Indian families, reputation, especially in smaller communities or close-knit social circles, is extremely important. If a South Indian man is betrayed, particularly if the betrayal is public, for example, infidelity, dishonesty, he may feel deeply embarrassed or humiliated, not just for himself but for his family as well. He may react by wanting to protect his family's honor, which could influence his decision to either distance himself from the situation publicly or react with anger to restore his sense of dignity. Number 2. Internalized respect for family and tradition. South Indian men often grow up with a strong sense of respect for their family, traditions, and societal norms. Loyalty to family and cultural expectations is instilled from a young age. When betrayed, a loyal South Indian man may struggle with reconciling the traditional values of loyalty and commitment with the harsh reality of being betrayed. He might feel a sense of duty to maintain composure and not show vulnerability, which could lead to him suppressing his emotions in public. Number 3. Reluctance to express emotions openly. In many South Indian families, there is an emphasis on maintaining emotional control and composure, particularly for men. Cultural norms may discourage openly displaying pain or anger. As a result, he might not openly confront the woman who betrayed him or even discuss his feelings with others. Instead, he may internalize the hurt, focusing on work, religion, or self-reflection to deal with his emotions. His emotional expression may be more indirect, through actions or subtle gestures, rather than outright confrontation. Number 4. Seeking support from close circles. While a South Indian man may not openly express his pain to the outside world, he will likely turn to a select few trusted individuals, such as close friends, family members, or religious figures. These relationships are often pivotal sources of emotional support in his culture. He may discuss the betrayal in private and seek guidance or validation from his close family or community elders. The approval or disapproval of these trusted figures will be significant in his healing process. Number 5. Devotion to spiritual or religious coping. Religion plays an important role in the lives of many South Indian individuals. Whether it's Hinduism, Christianity, or Islam, a loyal South Indian man may turn to his faith as a way of processing the betrayal. Prayer, temple visits, or engaging in spiritual practices can be a way to seek strength, forgiveness, and guidance. In some cases, the betrayal might lead him to question his faith, while in others, it may strengthen his belief that patience and time will heal his wounds. Number 6. Desire for justice over revenge. While betrayal may lead to feelings of anger, a South Indian man, especially one influenced by traditional values, may not immediately seek revenge. Instead, he may prioritize justice or reconciliation, even if that means quietly distancing himself from the woman. His actions might be motivated by a desire to restore balance or fairness rather than seeking emotional revenge. This focus on justice could manifest in a decision to take a measured, calm approach rather than engaging in overtly dramatic confrontations. Number 7. Emotional retaliation or indifference. Depending on the nature of the betrayal, a South Indian man might respond in one of two ways: emotional retaliation, for example, cutting off all ties with the woman, and perhaps even with her family, or indifference, avoiding further emotional engagement altogether. This indifference might not come from a lack of pain, but from an overwhelming desire to avoid further emotional damage or conflict. In such cases, he might simply choose to act as though the relationship never existed and move on quietly. Number 8. Increased guardedness in future relationships. Betrayal could make a South Indian man even more cautious and selective in future relationships, especially if the betrayal came from someone close to him or from a woman he was emotionally invested in. He may become more guarded, valuing trust and loyalty even more than before, and he may be less willing to fully invest in future romantic relationships without a long period of proving trustworthiness. Number 9. Familial pressure and expectations. In many South Indian cultures, families are highly involved in the lives of their children, especially in matters of marriage and relationships. If the betrayal is particularly severe or involves infidelity, the man might feel additional pressure from his family to either reconcile or take specific actions, for example, break off the relationship, take revenge, or discuss the issue with her family. His family's influence could be a driving factor in how he handles the situation. In some cases, the family may offer their support, while in others, they may ask him to maintain appearances or be the bigger person. Number 10. Focus on reputation and social status. In South Indian communities, social status and public perception are important, especially in the context of marriage and relationships. The betrayal might affect how the man is viewed by his extended family or community, and he might feel pressure to either publicly defend his honor or maintain composure. This focus on reputation might mean that he doesn't openly express his hurt or anger in public but instead deals with it privately. Number 11. A need for personal reflection and healing. South Indian men, particularly those influenced by cultural values of introspection and respect for elders, might take time to process their feelings through reflection or quiet contemplation. They may also seek advice from older male role models or spiritual leaders who can provide wisdom on how to handle the emotional aftermath of betrayal. Personal reflection may be his way of making sense of the betrayal and deciding how to move forward without being guided solely by emotion. Number 12. Potential for long-term resentment. Given the loyalty that South Indian men often place in their relationships, betrayal might cause deep, long-lasting emotional scars. Though he may eventually heal, the emotional scars may last for years. He may never fully forgive the woman, particularly if the betrayal involved deep emotional or moral violations, such as deceit or infidelity. This can lead to a long-term change in how he views relationships in general. Conclusion. A loyal South Indian man's response to betrayal is shaped by both universal psychological principles, such as hurt, anger, and the need for closure, and cultural factors, including family values, respect for reputation, and religious influences. While he might not openly express his emotions, he is likely to process his feelings through introspection, family discussions, and spiritual practices, and he may prioritize the preservation of his family's honor and social reputation. His ultimate response may lean toward quiet withdrawal or seeking justice rather than public confrontation or revenge.